All right, folks, welcome back for another Young Justice review, episode 20 of season 4, Forbidden Secrets of Civilizations Past. Trell and I here to break it all down for you today. Where do we start here? Beast Boy going to therapy and having a really difficult session. I think the big overall theme of this episode is like everybody is affected by Connor's death, presumably death. Yeah. And Beast Boy, you know, where we last saw him, they tried to do what do you call it again? Intervention, yeah. And while it seemed to be dismissive, he was very transparent about it, saying like, nah, that's like the realization he needed. But his motives in terms of wanting therapy, I think, was a little over the place. I mean, he wants to get back to the outsiders, you know, that's his thing. But he's battling the grieving and the responsibility he feels of Connor's death. Black Canary definitely was like, yeah. I mean, these
bullshit her. Tell her what she wanted to hear so he can get back on the squad. It was clear he wasn't ready.
Yeah,
very clear.
But I think I think it's progress nonetheless. But it was a hard one for him, and I think she obviously. By her position, has been around the block a few times, so she wasn't about to just let him have his way,
right.
And definitely held him accountable. But yeah, he's definitely struggling, and it was super clear. But I guess the biggest part of this episode, unless there's some objection to it, is Lord Zod.
The heist. The heist of the century.
Yeah, I can't even believe that in all these things that I cannot believe that Mantis was the one that got this done. But yeah, Lord Zod and the crew, their whole goal is to get to the Infinity Vault, so that they can get what the hell do you call it?
The Phantom Zone projector.
The Phantom Zone projector. Away from Metron. First of all, to kind of see the timeline about how Metron took one L on New Genesis, got put through the broom tube, and is on the other side, takes another L from Lord Zod. First of all, I love this whole scene because going through the different timelines and even with Metron kind of requiring the help from the rest of the new gods and whatnot, and saying like, yeah, if you want to save everything, y'all need to come with me right now. And also kind of how he one-upped them in terms of like, so I bet you wasn't looking for this, but here is a piece of Kryptonian and crippling everything along with the what they call them again, the red sun eaters, sun eater. So I like how that kind of went about, but
I told you like the name of the game, the name of the theme of this season was gonna be time travel, and like once part B of this kicked off, I was like, once they introduced Bart, it was gonna be time travel. So like as we see, like they're going back in time, they're going forward in time, going back to get into the vault and everything like that. But we see a very small play of like what part of time travel is being used here. Everybody knows like the Legion, they travel through time to stop AYZ, and they use a flash to go back and stop an event. So it was just interesting to see again, like that Zod has the, what do they call it, the time cycle, the time sphere, whatever it is, the time sphere, to go back and get this projector so he can unleash these insane Kryptonians on the universe. So I mean, like it's definitely about to be ridiculously interesting. Like there's a lot of good stuff here in this episode.
Yeah. Not only with his parents now seeing mom and dad now, there's definitely a whole cult of slavery seems to be going on here.
Yeah.
But fear, I mean, try to say fear. Trouble is to come with Connor, because while he fits the MO there, he's not aware of what's happening. As we've seen Drew kind of like that telepathic connection with his wife to say like, we're gonna go slow on this one. I'm not sure if that's some type of mind control, or what do you think is going on over there?
I don't know. That potentially might be an ability that she had prior to going in, because I don't think that you gain abilities in the Phantom Zone. And I think like just seeing, I think you keep kind of like your abilities going into the zone. I mean, like you said, like you don't have a physical form. You're basically just your consciousness. So if you will it, it's going to happen. So that could be something that they've learned while they were in there. But as you can see, like he's slow playing them. She was like, yeah, we gonna do this. We're gonna take it slow, and he's his mind's really still messed up from the zone sickness, so he's
Right.
susceptible to pretty much anything. And waking up Saturn Girl was probably his best bet at getting out of there. Even though they're about to open up a big ass gateway with the Phantom Zone projector. So
Yeah, no doubt, and I think that it's gonna be interesting because, like, is that to say that Metron is aware that these things are happening? Because I mean, Metron, I don't think he looked at. I what do you? I mean, he's obviously been traveling through time and whatnot.
right.
Um, yeah.
They,
So
I was gonna say Metron getting his ass whipped like the last two seasons. Like he keep catching them up. They keep catching him off guard. Like the last season, they knocked him off his chair and then took
yeah,
control with like Cyborg. And so I don't know. Like obviously they about to set up the Time High Squad to stop him from taking the Phantom Zone projector. But I don't know. I mean, the way they set that up. I mean, we got two Lanterns, Rocket, Orion, and I'm very curious to see how this goes, because this is like the third or fourth episode into this.
hmm
Usually this is like 4 and done, but I'm surprised to see this go like 5 episodes and see.
Nah, this. I mean, in this act, this will. I think this will be our third, if I'm not
Okay,
mistaken,
yeah,
in this act. So, yeah. But and I also think the other interesting thing is that, like, they're like very much, in terms of the Phantom Zone, they're very much like intrigued or have some type of premeditated plans with Connor.
right. Like,
But
how'd you get here? Like, there's
but
clearly, yeah,
but Phantom Girl is where I would think your end game has to be, and there seems to not be much of a plan derived around her, and with her being unconscious this entire time, which is not something that typically happens. I think that it's going to be interesting to see when she awakes, or if she awakes, how that how that all kind of plays out. But yeah, like with Lord Zod, obviously doing whatever he can to get to his parents, and with him basically having this whole cult following of Kryptonians ready to be unleashed. What does that mean for everything going forward? Like, what's the overall end game for all the Zods here now? And is it because, like, the lack of presence in Kryptonians? Because, like, that's also something really asserted in this episode, is just like Connor was the last of the genetically, especially from his house. But what does that mean? Something else I'm gonna talk about in a second. But yeah, like, what does that mean though?
Well, I mean, it's only Jor-El and his brother at the time. So I mean, like, Kal-El was the last of the House of El. Does cloning count though? Like, I guess. I mean, technically, his son will be the next. Jonathan will be the next in the House of El. But I mean, they don't know obviously about the son. But is this okay? Let me ask: Is this Zod that's in the Phantom Zone, like, it's supposed to be the General Zod, the typical General Zod, just like a different race? Because this is clearly a black Zod. Like,
Excuse me. To be honest, and I think that's to be revealed. I mean, does
right.
the psychology of the characters suggest yes, but I mean,
I didn't think I would, but I'm really digging his son, man. He seems pretty ruthless. Like, get the job done at any cost. Like, you see how they just straight trap. Like, as soon as Metron came through the portal, he just like slapped them down, hit the little machine or whatever, and trapped them down.
yeah,
And of course, Metron outplayed him, because he knows his look, pulled out that kryptonite on him, and I just thought that was interesting. Like I said, like, seeing him get the job done by any means necessary to get his parents out of this Phantom Zone that they were unjustly put in for over like 30-40 years.
yeah, and also too, I think with these different timelines that's kind of going on here, I think that also plays a part in terms of where does these characters like where's their motivation and so on going forward. So it's hard to tell, but to your point though, I mean I would assume yes, it's based on the what we know of Drew previously, whether race swapped or whatnot. But again, I think it's truly going to be because clearly black, but I think it's going to be determined what happens once they're out of there.
Right.
And that will obviously be the next act. Once they get out, that will absolutely be the next act. I was going to say I thought Tomar 2, and I don't know if I've ever known this, but like I never known that was his sector of protecting Krypton.
I didn't know that either. And then when he said that, I wrote that down. I was like, man, I've never heard them mention that before. Until now, like he feels like, oh, I feel, that was my sector to protect. I couldn't help him. Yada. So that was definitely interesting to know that he felt the connection with, Kryptonians to that extent, because that was in his line of responsibility. Because whatever reason, Green Lanterns feel like they need to protect the entire universe.
Yeah, so, it's enough of them to do so. But yeah, right. I mean, it's just another layer of grief that he has. It feels like that's his biggest regret is not being able to save. And then obviously with Connor being around at the time, it's kind of like, well, I guess this is my second chance. And now he's looking at this scenario sort of the same in terms of like, what could I have possibly done to intervene and whatnot? So the other thing with the new guys and the new Justice League, with them saying that not Rocket, Cyborg and why can't I think of her?
Gabrielle
Halo. There we go. They actually should be here, and I thought, well, first of all, at this point now, I guess it's an interesting conversation, but at this point now, like, what are their goals at these briefings that they're having? Because it seems like everybody's just kicking the rocks around and just throwing darts at the board and seeing what stick. I mean, everybody's just kind of just at this point now have not been productive into anything, but just spitting out ideas.
Off. Like something keep happening. I mean, I definitely get their point. Like as far as like Gabrielle and Cyborg, because they are big threats. You know what I mean? Like they're mother box infused beings, like / human beings that can have a lot of power. They can come and go as they please. And as you've seen in the previous season, Halo was like helping with that whole anti-life equation thing. And they almost took over the universe for a second. You know what I mean? Like, they almost until they shut that down. So definitely having a little bit more control of that, because like Earth is just doing a terrible job protecting them. But I do think them being on New Genesis would be a better fit. But obviously they're not going to go for that.
Yeah.
But I can't even remember. It was supposed to be like a peace talk or something like that between Earth and whatever, and then it just went on a tangent. Like I'm like, okay, so what are they here to do again? Like,
yeah,
they keep getting distracted. Something keeps happening.
That's it. Yeah, definitely keep getting distracted. And Bear coming in is not helping anything as well too. They're talking about age.
Jay is 102, so I'm thinking like, okay, so the Speed Force just not keep him from dying? Like, is that how that works? Are the rest of them gonna stay that old and they like in their 50s? I wonder how that works. So
Jay looks every bit of 102, just having his birthday and everything. But but Orion is definitely not with the shits. He's just like, y'all are not being productive, and it is what it is.
Oh yeah, talking about love and family. Somebody want to hear about that? We here to work.
And Forager got to make a decision. Is he going to stay or go? He's definitely staying. He's in love. I think that's
he about to get them eggs. To plant them seeds.
So Metron, like I said, Metron now comes back to New Genesis, and after being basically
assaulted.
There's definitely a word I was gonna look for there. Being snuck up on. What's the word for that?
There was no way he saw that coming out that portal, like just slapped down. Like,
yeah, he definitely got snuck up on, where's the word? It starts with a B. When you
like you just, I don't know. Like he's banked somebody, like he just like
no about when you sneak up on somebody from behind. It starts with a B. I know, but I'll come to it. But he, at this point now, like again, like he had a few tricks up his sleeve, but he still, even with being immortal, he couldn't do anything with which is interesting with Mantis coming up with the plan, him being the one to sit back and go a day earlier, realizing that if that's the one that you have kryptonite in, then that must be where it's at. I don't know how he drew that conclusion, but
he's smarter. He's smarter than what we thought.
that was the surprising thing.
Knew how to operate the time machine. Went back a day. It was like, oh, let's go back and get this. I found it.
and for them looking for Metron now, I mean, I wonder if that now changes their like whole like where does that align him with all of them? Because with him having the Ruction sale and taking that back, that's initially why they were after him. But now that they're realizing like he's actually being part of more than just what it was, and it'd be interesting to see if Razor gets involved with this as well too, because like I said, it come with me if you want to save the entire galaxy, and that's going to bring attention to everybody.
I mean, obviously the Kryptonian is going to get loose. This is about to turn into a whole end-game situation. I think everybody is about to come into play, and like it's this that last season or whatever, the last couple episodes, everybody's going to come into play, and Razor's definitely going to play a part in this. But I don't think they're going to stop what's about to happen. You know what I mean? So they're going to save this whole Connor reveal, still a live reveal for the end. But like I said, I think the whole Justice League and Razor and the whole crew about to come in to stop these Kryptonians, because one is already tough enough dealing with Superman. Now you're about to have like 20, 30 plus, nah. So
yeah,
makes them less unique. It's like
and the
Kryptonians that's willing to kill,
and like
Lex's like greatest fear.
Right, and you're right. And I guess like the testament of strength, where we're seeing what they're doing in the Phantom Zone, I think like that's just showing us like not only what they can do, but the fact that everyone's aligned in sync is definitely going to be problematic, and I think that's where all roads are leading to.
Hell's Zod, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's basically what it was. I was like, this is definitely some very Phantom Zone Nazi shit going on right now. Like, so
it also reminds me like they explain like these Kryptonians try to take over like the universe. Reminds me of kind of the plot of like Invincible, like that group of like Mark's race of people like trying to take over like the universe, like Strong Arm the rest of the like it reminds me of that whole thing. And like I said, obviously Superman and whoever's going to put them back in the Phantom Zone at the end, hopefully. But I hope, oh God, I hope they bring Wally back, man. That's all I can think about. Every time they do time travel, I'm like, for the love of God, please bring Wally back. Like,
yeah, and at this point now, I mean, again, I've been pro it's going to happen, but like I'm just now curious to see in what direction does it go, because like it seems like there's bigger things to address right now, and I think that's also too why we're getting Beast Boy in the position we are, because like when you're talking about bringing everybody back, I think that's it. We're going to have to see every character at their peak. Not even gonna say their peak performance, but in their classification. We need to see like the Doom Patrol, the Outsiders, everybody. We're going to just need to see everybody, and I think that's kind of like where they're getting ready for the big finale on that note. Wherever the finale is going to be, I mean, I think there's one more episode in this act, and what did we get another act after that? I mean,
right. They've also strayed away from the Savage stuff too. They kind of like haven't really gone back into that. He hasn't made an appearance since that whole last thing. With it, I mean, obviously that was with his son in Atlantis and stuff like that. Well, the fake version of his son, whatever. But they, like I said, they haven't really gone back into like what his arc is, and I think he's going to make a big play into this too, because like obviously he wants to protect the Earth at all costs. You know what I mean? And civilization. So. I'd definitely be curious to see how he's going to feel about this whole Kryptonians being unleashed thing.
Yeah.
So, time travel is the name of the game for this entire arc so far.
Yep. Anything else you want to add on tonight's episode?
Hashtag save Wally. And I really hope that Gar really takes this serious, man, because he's being really deflective. And him and his that mental health stuff is serious, man. And especially when you're dealing with, a life or death situation with other squad members. You know what I mean? Like he feels responsible for people's deaths that he couldn't have possibly have helped with. Like Canary was saying, like, yo, was you about to hop in the lava, my guy, and pull that ball? She was like, no. How was you going to help your mom at 8 years old? What was you going to do? Nothing.
Yeah.
So, and he like, come on. So he was like, yeah, you're right. So, but I really hope that we definitely see, like, and it's not, and I'm glad they didn't, it's not being rushed. Like, oh, I'm good, because I thought that's the direction they were going to go in, because that wouldn't have been real. He like, oh yeah. She's like, did you stop taking the pills? He's like, I get to it. I gotta take my time. So
yeah, he's like, I'm not taking it no more, but it's still in my system. But he's like, but I know how this goes. I mean,
so if I drug test you're gonna fail. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, like I said, I hope to see baseball get back on track, and with Connor eventually coming back, there's just not to say there's no consequence to death, because people still die in the show, but like, see him like know that he can't take responsibility for everything that happens. Like, these are people with their own agency and they make their own choices. Like, yeah, you're leader, but you can't control what happens out here, man.
Yeah. And you talking about Connor in terms of coming back, and then again, where is he at when he does come back? I mean, does he fall in line with Zod, and whatever type of neural sync that he has on everybody? I mean, it's telling that you hear everybody basically, chanting a melody of some sort, and they're all in line. Like, there's
Lifting
something going on.
Just lifting rocks. There we go.
No, I don't know. We'll see.
But no, again, best cartoon on TV right now.
Anyway, folks, let us know your thoughts about tonight's. Let us know your thoughts about today's episode, episode 20, season 4 of Young Justice. I think we're all gearing up for a big battle, a big war, and more big reveals. This is definitely an episode that definitely, and I also should mention too, with Lord Zod not being aware of Orion, I'm not sure where that plays a part there. When he got that intel back from Mahala Fakar about meeting with Rocket, and what her issues were or whatnot, but also understanding who Orion is, and how could Darkseid actually have a son in that position. We always know Darkseid's always 2 steps ahead, and then it was going to be interesting to see where that kind of comes into play again. So, but yeah, let us know your thoughts, your predictions, points we've missed, and whatever you want to talk about in the comments. Drop those down below, and we're back each and every week for more Young Justice review, folks. We'll see y'all next time.
See you.